I ever played. How do you feel about the Pokemon series?
Pokemon, I have, just for folks who can hear, it's the questions about what do I think of Pokemon. I appreciate what Pokemon is. I never got into it. The only reason... There you go, yeah. I mean, I appreciate what Pokemon is. I appreciate that it exists. I was in, like, my junior year of high school when Pokemon came out, so I was just outside the audience that they were aiming at.
And you were ignoring Kirby?
Yeah, it was, thank for the people who saw episode 3, Kirby Confession. I think that's 3. That must be 3. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if I got into it now, I'm like, okay, I get it, it's a trading RPG, that's cool, but when Pokemon came out, my reaction to it was mainly, this is something, it was very much like a Wii hardcore, reaction. It was kind of like, hey, wait a minute, Nintendo's all about Mario. What was this mouse thing? What's going on here? I don't understand. I'm afraid of new things. But I appreciate what Pokemon is, and it looks like something I would really be into if I was in that area. In that same general direction, I understand people are who grew up with and loved the Power Rangers. I'm one generation behind that. I'm Ninja Turtles, so it's if I saw like a Power Ranger cosplay walking around here, I probably wouldn't respond unless she was just stacked and it was very tight. But if someone was around even in like a shitty version of like the Shredder costume, I would be like, oh, you're awesome, oh my god. And if it was Skeletor, I'd probably faint because he red hat stand. Come, microphone. You gotta be a show the people.
Not to sound like a typical retro/indie gamer.
No, please.
What do you think about there's tons of first-person shooters and Madden and stuff like that? What do you think about the sort of lack of new IPs these days with major game companies?
The lack of new IPs is a problem, but it is a problem that we contribute to. I mean, let's face it. Right now, Super Mario Galaxy is a great game. Do we all pretty much agree on this? Okay. Now, would you even know it existed? Because it's a hardcore game on the Wii and whatnot. Would you know that existed if Mario wasn't in it?
No.
Okay. Do you think that would have sold at all? No. Do you think Little Big Planet sold so many millions of copies? Not a huge bomb, but definitely a disappointment for something that was supposed to define the PlayStation 3. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is now outselling games that came out 2 years before it on the same system. Yeah. It has doubled the sales of the original Super Mario Galaxy already. That's why we don't get new IPs. So that happens. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to, and I love the old games, but the fact is, whenever someone does make a new IP, we don't give it a chance because we're a little bit spoiled. Like Blinks. Does anyone remember Blinks? This was a game. This was a game with a cat that let you rewind and fast forward and do all sorts of things. The game wasn't that good.
It controlled like shit.
Yes, it did. But it was. But you know what else has control problems is the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It does not control as well as 2 and 3 and Knuckles. And I'm hoping the downloadable 4, whenever the hell that comes out, is. But we don't give things time to get better. So Blinks comes out and it controls like shit, and everyone reacts and says, oh, okay, that sucked, and then that's gone. So no more of him. He was a new IP. Unfortunately, it goes back to us. If we bought games that were better, and if we supported games that were better, and if there was more of a mechanism to get them out, if the mechanism of getting games that are M-rated and above to the public wasn't dominated by a monopoly called GameStop. Yeah. A monopoly called GameStop will end its monopoly. And I don't hate GameStop, but I don't like monopolies. And because it squeezes things out and it makes it harder for a product to get to people. If GameStop won't carry something, it's basically not going to sell. And this happens. And their used game market makes absolutely sure that new things will not sell, because if something comes out that you're not absolutely sure of, because it costs $59.99, because everything has to have millions of dollars in development time, everything has to have bloom lighting, every idea has to be a major release, and it screws us, because they come out, and if it's not a 100% sure thing, it's like, okay, am I going to eat this week, or am I going to buy a game? And so we buy the stuff we're sure of, okay, well, if you like Halo, Halo's good. I know Mario's good. I know Zelda's good. I know Metroid's good. And if there's stuff that I'm unsure about, it's like, you know what? I would take a chance, but in like a week it's going to be a used copy. And the thing is, that's great for us. You know, buying the used stuff, renting the used stuff is great for us. But the thing is, that reason you're being able to buy that used or marked down or whatnot is because it's already bombed, it's already a dud, it's already gone. You know, sword, because sometimes, you enjoy something, and then I think about it later, and I'm like, this is kind of troubling. Like 300 again. You know, I see that the first time, you see that movie, and you're like, oh, Sparta, yeah, oh, I want to stab, for some reason, vaguely homophobic caricatures of brown people who were actually not this evil in real life and are actually being stereotyped horribly. And there's also no real strong female characters in this movie except one, and they added her, and okay, maybe I don't like this as much as I thought.
Okay, how excited are you about the 3DS, and what game are you looking forward to the most?
3DS. Yeah! And this is me being a giant hypocrite because, on the one hand, it's like, oh man, we need to support things, the old IPs really hurt us. On the other hand, Nintendo gets to win E3 this year by basically saying, okay, new Mario, new Zelda, new Metroid, new Donkey Kong, Kid Icarus is back, everything's good, 3D without glasses, this is awesome, this is amazing, we're going to have all this stuff, and all these games that you already bought and liked on the N64 are going to be on 3DS, and I go, yes, yes, please, I want to give you my money again for things that I already paid for. Yes, absolutely. Please, please. And then, but the answer is very excited. I want to see how the 3D works. A new Nintendo handheld, 9 times out of 10, is a reason to celebrate. And I wish that there were other companies making handhelds that were a reason to celebrate. Because again, I hate monopolies even when they're people that I like. And, the fact that no one can make a successful handheld but Nintendo is bullshit. Yes, the PSP has been getting better. It has taken a decade, but the PSP is getting better. There are now maybe like a library's worth of decent PSP games that are not just smaller PS2 games. And
Kirby Epic Yarn.
Kirby Epic Yarn, absolutely. How awesome is that the nostalgia strength of Kirby, that they can re-release this, that they can make a Kirby game. It's like, okay, you know what? It like flies in the face of everything we know about redoing like old franchises, where usually it's like, okay, we're going to take this guy, he was a little, kind of goofy, kind of silly, robot arms, spiky hair, and we're going to give him dreadlocks and, throw dirt all over him and whatnot. Whereas the Kirby version is, we're going to take a guy who's already borderline too cute, big pink balloon, and we're going to make him look like your grandma crocheted him. And you're going to love it. You're going to love it because he turns into a tank made of yarn. And it's awesome. This is nuts. You guys are awesome.
Do you think it's, with like all the new recent announcements for video game movies like Gears of War and Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that, do you think it's possible that a good video game movie can be made?
Yeah.
Mega Man.
Anything's possible. Yeah, the Mega Man movie was pretty tight. The fan film, if you saw Eddie LeBron's Mega Man, we saw this.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Now, will I say it was perfect? No. But good for an independent effort, absolutely. Could use some more coverage. Coverage is important. But, that's good. Absolutely, video game movies can be made good. You can make a good movie out of anything. Anything. Even Halo. Even Halo. And so nobody asked that. It's like, what about Halo? Because, yes, even Halo can be a good movie. It will just be really hard because Master Chief is uninteresting.
It's the personality of Brett.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
What are your thoughts on the new Tron movie?
My thoughts on the new Tron movie are that I want to know when I get to wake up. Because nobody saw that movie when it first came out. Nobody saw that in theaters. I was too young. Everybody was interested in E.T., which was also great. That same year. That was a great year for genre film. But Tron was this underground nerd thing that people didn't really know, didn't really appreciate. It's slow in spots. And that, basically was a hardcore nerd thing that grew over the years in the underground. It went from being kind of a joke to ironically appreciated to, wow, this is ahead of its time. And now the idea, not only that there's a new Tron, because, remakes happen and whatnot, but the fact that if we haven't seen the trailer for Tron 2, or Tron Legacy, I guess they're calling it now, is like they open this and they show Flynn's Arcade, and Bruce Boxleitner is there, and he's old, and he's talking about Flynn, and the recognizer comes up, and then the guy gets up, and I'm thinking, like, this is nuts. This is like a movie that I never would have thought that I would go see. I thought I was going to see Masters of the Universe 2. Not a remake of Masters of the Universe, but like a legitimate sequel to the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie before I saw Tron 2. And it blows my mind.
Well, speaking of crummy, what do you think of the new Castlevania game? And sequels like that?
Which new Castlevania game? The 4-player or the 3D one?
The brown and gray one.
The brown game. I'll give this a shot. This is the one with 3D, and it's like an electric whip on a cross.
It's the one that looks a lot like God of War with Patrick.
Yeah. This is one thing I'm sick of, is that there has to be a way to make a brawler that isn't God of War. Like, I love God of War, everyone loved God of War, but not everyone has to use weapons that are on ropes swinging around because, you know, melee weapons are hard to animate, is basically the reason for that. No, in Castlevania it works, but it's more, have you seen, like, the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions looks awesome. One thing that kind of trips me out of that is that they were showing off their new, awesome, original, totally redesigned Spider-Man control scheme. They said, what is it? Well, he can shoot his webs out and, like, grab pieces of stuff and then swing them around. Yeah, that's never been done. I can't think of a game where I saw that before. Certainly.
Game OverThinker job. I can't brain for. What was the contest?
ScrewAttack's My Vids Don't Suck contest.
What was your reaction to? Did you going into that? Did you think you had a pretty good shot of winning it? Or?
No, I didn't. And I know this sounds like a bullshit answer. Like, obviously, if I didn't think that I could do well, I wouldn't have entered because I don't need humiliation in my life. But I did not think it was going to, like, I hoped, and, you know, I put on my blog, which was apparently very controversial to do, to point out that I was in the contest and ask people to consider voting for me. But I didn't know that that was a bad thing to do, apparently. But I entered that because a fan wrote in and said, hey, you should enter this. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, well, let's do that. And the fact that I kept on going blows my mind, and I owe it all to the fans, because I'll be honest, I was not the best video in that contest. Voted for myself, glad I won, but, you know, like I was up against, I was up against Rockumentary and Taco Man, and like these insanely well-produced things, full animation, brilliant Captain N parody of all things, and it is insane that I got all the way through that, and it is thanks to fans like you, so I'm sure some of you if you voted, and when I am here because you wanted me to be here, and I thank you for that, and that was, seriously, applaud you. You know what, it is so my God, my God, yeah, it's all about you guys, it's all about you.